We have see-through plastic sheets for weaving hair instead of aluminum foil. So it takes out all the guesswork. Somebody like this color of hair, I would eliminate toning altogether because I can see when the color is up and ready to take off. So I'll show you some little tricks along the way. I'm using BW2, and I like it because it's dust-free, or it has less dust. So it's just less that you're going to be breathing in. And Kasey has the perfect color of hair to not have to use toners. See, darker hair, personally, I don't like the way it looks to have really dark hair with really blonde streaks through it. I just don't care for that. So I would tone that to soften it up a little bit so it's just not so much of a difference. And when I mix up my bleach, I like it to be a little on the thicker side, probably like mashed potatoes. So I use a tail comb to start in the crown area for a couple of reasons. The first reason is if you're a little bit unsure about your color, it's a good way for you to check it back here rather than your client seeing it from up there. Okay? Because they're looking, they're watching. Unless they know you and they know, that you know what you're doing. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is clip this sheet, the first sheet, right on the part line. Now I'm going to save you a step. I see hairdressers do this all the time, even people that have been in the business as long as I have, 38 years. Okay, they'll take their comb, they'll run it through, then they'll take their comb and weave it out. That's a wasted step. You don't have to do that. Time is money in this business, you guys. Okay, I'm taking my comb and I'm running it right along the part line. Okay, so on Kasey, I'm going to try to blend with what she's already got. Okay, but you definitely want to talk to your client about that, before you go ahead. You want to make sure you know exactly what they want, because you don't want to make it too light. It's always easier to go lighter, but to go back and make it darker is a headache. You don't want to do that. Okay, so I start here. I'm holding the hair taut, okay? And then, okay, so that pretty much locks it on. Now I'm going to go back and work it right back to the edge of that plastic sheet. This hair, it's going to look like her weave grew right out of her scalp. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just paint it and feather it on, just like an artist. Just paint it right into the other hair to blend it. You don't ever want to do a weave where you're doing a touch-up and you just end it in a straight line, because all those weaves are going to show. You want it to look natural, like it's the first weave they've had. Okay, so I'm going to take that top sheet now, and I'm going to lay it on, and I'm going to slide it up. Okay, and then I'm just going to move the clip. Okay, there you go. Now, so on Kasey, I'm going to use a part line that's maybe not quite a ½ inch. Personally, I like it when it's a little lighter around the face, so when I move back toward the front, then I'll lighten it up a little bit by going closer together, not leaving so much hair in between. It just takes a little practice, but once we've got clients for years that tell us, if you ever go out of business, we're quitting hair. Oh, the second reason, back to why I start in the crown area, is if I'm using a tint and a bleach, which I do quite often, you have to actually shampoo that area out, because normally if I just use bleach, I'll just hit it with the hot dryer and just dry the bleach because it'll stop the action. But if I'm using tint and bleach, then I have to shampoo that section out. So it's easier to lay them back at the bowl and just shampoo out that middle section that I just finished. And the thing is when this color is ready, you take it off. You're not going to do this like foil. You do the whole head, put them under the dryer for a half hour. No, what happened to that first section? That first section's been on longer than anything. So that's how you keep healthy hair. Get as much education as you can and work on building a clientele. Super important. Okay, now she's got some hair back here that's, I'm just going to go ahead, Kasey, and lift your chin up for me, hon. I'm just going to add another sheet on there and just keep going. Okay? And this is kind of like working with paste, so it'll stick. And it'll make the plastic sheets stick together too. So I'm going to cover up one, and then I'm going to cover up the other one. And hold it down and pull the hair taut, okay? Section right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making wider sections toward the back. And so, okay, so if you wanted to have a heavier weave, you can strip weave it. There's no problem with that, closer together. And what the important thing is you don't want any bleeding, you don't want spot. And you guys, one of the advantages of Dreamweavers is that you can weave fine with bleach or with foil. You can weave fine, but you're not going to see dry spots. You think you've covered it so well, and when you go back to look at these, you'll see a section. Oh, I missed that. You don't want that section to be on the top of somebody's head when you're blow drying them.
So when it's wrapped in foil, you don't see that. You miss that.
So you want to have control, okay? I'm locking it on, and I'm going to work it back. Sometimes on the very last section, and this is actually going to work really well, I'm going to do this whole section, okay, so that you don't see where one stopped and one started. Okay, it's okay to do that once in a while, and since she doesn't really have any color there, so it's perfect. So what I'm going to do, see, we didn't have the longer Dreamweavers for years because I've just always used the 4x6s on any length of hair.
You just accordion it, like an accordion, just layer it.
So you want to make sure that all that hair is really saturated. And then on the last section, I always clip it, just for security.
That way when you're going back like pages in the book to check the first sections, it just stays secure.
Okay, so now I'm going to go back, and I'm actually going to start pulling these back. And what I like to do is pull them one at a time. Get my fingers under there and turn it. All right, so now Kasey, is it okay if I make you a little blonder around the face?
Yes.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink my sections. Okay, I'm not using them as wide. I'm going to make it lighter around the face, I'm going to weave a little heavier. Okay? And I might even space out my sections a little bit. I mean, wider, you know, pieces that I'm actually weaving.
Again, there's that one piece of hair that is bleached all the way through. It's very blonde. So she avoided putting more bleach on that.
So to get a heavier weave, I could totally strip weave this, weave out the whole section, like maybe right around the face. I'll even do that. So, but I've got a couple of sections to go before I'll do something like that. So right now I'm just putting them a little closer together, leaving less space out between each section. Kasey's got like a little bit of like a little widow's peak right here. So you always want to make sure that the hairline looks really pretty, okay? Okay, now I'm getting like a little bit of the wider sections here. Okay, on this section now, I'm going to do a strip weave. Does everybody know what a strip weave is?
It's like slicing.
Slicing, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to take my tail comb, I'm going to lay it on right out the sheet, right at the part line, and I'm going to pull that hair tight over it, okay? So it's nice and close. So let's see here, we're going to, okay, this looks good. I'm going to take that off. Sorry, Kasey. And you want to pull these off really one at a time because they do stick. I like to section from the crown to the front of the ear for a partial weave. Alrighty, like that. And then what I'll do is I'll just clip that hair out of the way. With the Dreamweavers, if you have like usually on the side of the head, you have like a longer area where it's more flat. You can actually turn your sheet and work with it this direction. So you can go either way. Okay, I'm going to take my first section. I'm actually going to lay it that sideways and clip it right onto the part. When I started weaving her hair a little bit longer around the front, you can also do it while you're fading it into the back. Okay, it's just another trick. Things that you'll think of things yourself along the way too. I'm going to take my first section, pretty wide, my first little section. Then I'm going to just slowly fade it into. Okay, so I've got a lot of hair pulled here, and I'm slowly pulling less hair toward the crown. So it's going to be that pretty blend. It's going to be blonder around the face, less blonde around the back.
So it's not a deep up, it's just kind of lightening it?
These are the 4x9s. Do you want to get me out too, honey? So these are what we use for ombres. All right, just make it easier for you guys. These work great for waxing too, instead of the muslin or the pelon.
And they can be reused too for waxing?
You can use both sides,
Oh, okay.
but no, not after that. All right. I'm almost done with this side. Now I'm wondering, what about that top section, the bangs? That might just about be ready to come up. So don't forget about it, okay? See, with foil, it's out of sight, out of mind. It's all covered up. Some people don't care.
Located?
We're in Westlake Village.
Oh, okay.
Where was
you
it?
have your own salon?
Uh-huh.
There's Westlake Golf Course, just like.
Do you know where the Stone House is?
Yeah.
We're right across the street. Do you live in Westlake?
No, my grandma has a store out there.
What's her store?
Raffia.
I've been in there.
Yeah, it's my grandma's store.
All right, guys. Okay, so that's this section. So I'm going to let it down. See how those nice long sheets work so much better than the way I was trying to do it up here. Okay. See that section? Look how pretty that is. It's ready to come off. Now, right now, if I was using, well, even before, if I was using a tint along with the bleach, I would have taken her back to the shampoo bowl, pulled the front sections up that I wasn't finished with yet, shampooed out this one section, because you can't dry tint. But if you're working with the bleach, the cream lightener or bleach with tint, it needs to be shampooed out. Okay, so now we're going to take that off. You all right, Kasey?
Yeah.
Okay. Because bleach dries like that. Oh, honey. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give Kasey a little windshield. So if your client's wearing contact lenses, it's just a better way to keep this out of their eyes.
Sorry.
And it works very well. So what I was going to try to tell you during the announcement is right at her hairline here, I actually kind of went with it to make it soft. I didn't want like a total straight line anywhere. I just kind of pulled out the pieces just to soften it, okay? Okay. So you can see the difference where I got heavier around the face and then not so heavy back here. And it's a beautiful effect. My assistant's going to blow dry the front there while I work on this side. I'm ready to mix up a little bit more bleach. And you know, it's better to mix up more than throw it out in the sink. You just don't want to waste product if you don't have to.
Plus it's fresher and stronger.
Exactly. Exactly. And so this section will come up really fast because it's going to have brand new bleach. Now, what I'm going to do, some of this hair that's hanging down here was hair that was in between the top sections. So I'm going to get those out of the way.
Is it too hot?
No, not at all.
Okay, so I already have that first section. You got to be careful that you always leave a space between the top. Okay, don't just start weaving that first section. Otherwise, you're going to have a big chunk of blonde hair there. And that's another thing. Like, say if you wanted to do a chunky weave, but you want it up to the scalp, just do like 2 or 3 right in a row without leaving the virgin hair between. Little pieces here, and then I'm going to do the wide section in front. All right? Would somebody like to turn a hair dryer on for me, please? One of the hood dryers? Okay, now her hair, Kasey, I'm going to have you bend down here a little bit toward the glass. So there's some pieces here that don't look like they've been weaved.
So kind of you're doing root touch-up and balayage together.
Mm-hmm.
Root and the ends balayage.
Mm-hmm. You're going to lay that on. What you're going to do is take it and slide it up.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Like
and then
that.
just take your hand and just kind of lay it on there.
Okay.
Let's do one more.
Okay, sure.
There you go.
But that was good.
And then you're going to move the
Yeah.
clip, and that's going to protect that.
Awesome.
So then you're going to start slowly flipping these back, like the pages of a book. And then because this section is going to be the top section under the dryer, I'm going to clip it right into place so the air from the dryer doesn't blow it up, and then the product would dry quicker than I need it to. Okay? Okay. Now is when we're going to do the 2 processes at once, okay? I'm going to stop the activation here, and I'm going to process this, okay, at the same time. Okay, so Kasey, and her eyes are protected, so we don't have to worry about dust flying in her eyes. Okay, come on over, Kasey. You got your little windshield.